Now that you've learned how to sync your iPod with your computer and play music, video, audiobooks, and podcasts, we'll show you a few more things so you can have the best possible experience using your iPod. With iTunes 7, it's easy to back up all or part of your iTunes library. Just go to the File menu and select Backup to Disk. Now you can choose to back up your entire library, including your playlists or just items you've purchased from the iTunes Store. Also, notice you can select this option so that you don't waste any time or disk space with items you've already backed up. Now just click here and insert disks as iTunes prompts you to. When you're done, it's a good idea to create labels for your disks. Just insert each backup disk and select it here under Devices. Now go to the File menu and select Print. You can print a jewel case insert or a page that lists your backup date and all the files it contains. If you want, you can restore these files on any computer with the latest version of iTunes. It's important to note that you can back up movies and TV shows from the iTunes Store to a DVD, but they can't be played in your home DVD player. Another way to move music and video from your iPod to a new computer is to transfer your purchases. First, make sure your new computer is authorized by selecting Authorize Computer from the Store menu. With your iPod connected to your new computer, go to the File menu and select Transfer Purchases from your iPod. Watch as all purchased music and video on your iPod is transferred from your iPod to your computer, including album information and artwork. This feature works with anything you buy from the iTunes Store. If you want to move your library, you can use your iPod as a hard disk. Open iPod Preferences and just make sure you've selected this option. Now, if you have enough available space, you can copy files from your computer to your iPod, just like it's an external hard drive. As long as you've selected to automatically copy files to the iTunes Music folder, you can just drag your entire library to your iPod. You can also drag other types of files to your iPod to take them with you. Now disconnect and then connect your iPod to your new computer. Copy files from your iPod by just dragging them into iTunes. If you've copied music and video you've purchased from the iTunes Store, you'll just need to authorize your new computer to play your purchased music and video. To learn more about all the things your iPod can do, see the iPod Features Guide. You can get it from iTunes by viewing iPod Help in the Help menu. To get started using your iPod, you'll first want to put some of your music on it. You'll use iTunes to manage your music and video. If you don't already have the latest version installed on your computer, you can download it for free. With iTunes installed, let's import music from a CD. Insert a CD, and iTunes will automatically find the track names and album information from the Internet. Click Yes to import the whole CD, or click No to select individual songs to be imported. Once your import is complete, click here to eject the CD, and notice your songs have been added to your library. You can also purchase music from the iTunes Store. Browse and find the song you'd like to own and click Buy Song. As your library grows, it's a good idea to create playlists to organize your music. Let's make a playlist called My Workout Music. Click the Add button and give it a name. Select songs here in your library and drag them to the playlist. You can rearrange the songs in your playlist by dragging them to the order you want them to play. Now that you have some music in iTunes, let's sync it with your iPod. If you're connecting your iPod for the first time, you'll need to name it and choose how you'd like to manage your music and video. Let's leave this option selected so your music and media from the iTunes library will automatically sync to your iPod. You can see the progress here as your media is downloaded to your iPod. When it's done, click here to eject your iPod and take your music with you. As your library of music and video grows, you might find that you can't fit the entire library on your iPod. One way to transfer just a portion of your library is to select the playlist you want. With your iPod selected under Devices, click the Music tab and select this option. Now choose the playlist you want to sync and click Apply. You can see here we have plenty of space for the music we selected. Do you want to add music from another computer? You'll need to go to the Summary tab, select Manually Manage Music and Videos, and click Apply. Now when you connect iPod to another computer, you can drag in music from that library as well. When you manually manage your music and want to delete a song, you'll need to find it on your iPod and press Delete. Now that you know how to sync music to your iPod, you can sync movies, TV shows, games, and audiobooks the same way. You can also add podcasts and photos to your iPod. For podcasts, find the one you want in the iTunes Store and click Subscribe. The latest episode will automatically download to your computer. You can make sure the latest episodes will be synced with your iPod by first deselecting this option in the Summary tab. Now choose the Podcast tab and select your sync options here. For photos, select the Photos tab and turn on syncing. If you're on a PC, you can choose to sync from a folder or Adobe Photoshop Elements. If you're on a Mac, you can choose to sync from a folder or iPhoto. Now that you have all of your media on your iPod, watch the Playing Music and Video on iPod tutorial. The controls on your iPod are amazingly simple to use. Let's take a tour to show you how it works. Make sure the hold switch isn't on, and turn your iPod on by pressing any button. Press and hold the play button to turn it off. Let's turn it back on, and now move your thumb lightly around the click wheel to move between menu items, and press the center button to choose an item. Press Menu to go back to the previous menu, or press and hold the Menu button to go directly to the main menu. Let's listen to a song on your iPod. Choose Music, browse for a song, and then press Play. The Now Playing screen displays information about the song you're listening to. When the Now Playing screen is visible, use the click wheel to change the volume like this. To skip to the next song, press the Next button once. Go to the beginning of the current song by pressing the previous button once. Press it again to go back to the previous song. Choose Shuffle Songs from the iPod main menu to randomly rearrange the playing order of your songs. Or go to the Settings menu and set your iPod to automatically shuffle songs or albums. Now let's take a look at a movie. From the main menu, choose Videos and browse for a movie, TV show, or video to watch. If you want to watch your video on a TV, connect your iPod using the iPod AV cable. After you connect, select Video Settings and then set TV Out to On. Movies purchased from the iTunes Store will play at near DVD quality. If you like listening to audiobooks, your iPod has some features to make it easy. You'll play an audiobook just like you listen to a song. Press the center button and then use the click wheel if you want to skip around to different parts.
Chapter 1.
Or if your audiobook has
other
chapters,
minister.
you can skip ahead by
Coming
pressing the
as the
next
Prime
button
Minister had
or
not-
press the previous
He will
button to go
telephone
back.
tomorrow night instead,
You can also
said
control the
little man.
speed audiobooks are
Kindly
read by
respond
pressing the center
immediately
button
to
until
Mr.
you see the speed
Fudge.
menu item,
I-
and then choose the setting you want.
Very well.
If
said
you
the
want to
Prime
take a
Minister
break and
weakly.
listen to your
Yes,
music,
I'll
when you
see
return to your
Fudge.
audiobook,
He hurried
iTunes
back to
picks
his
up right
desk,
where you left
straightening
off.
his tie as he went.
Listening to podcasts is a lot like listening to an audiobook. From the music menu, select Podcasts and then choose a show. Most podcasts will bookmark. When you stop listening to a podcast and go back to it later, the podcast should begin playing from where you left off, just like audiobooks. If it doesn't remember where you left off, check that the Remember Playback Position option is selected. To do this, click the podcast in iTunes and then select Get Info from the File menu. Want to use your iPod to show off your favorite photos to your friends? You can view a slideshow of your favorite photos by just selecting the album or roll you want, and then press play. Let's add some background music. From the Photos menu, choose Slideshow Settings, Music, and then select a playlist. You can watch your slideshow on a TV by connecting your iPod with an iPod AV cable. Once you get comfortable using your iPod, here's a few tips to maximize your playback time. Even though the iPod turns off automatically after 2 minutes of inactivity, press and hold the play button to power down as soon as you're done. Once it's off, it's a good idea to use the hold switch. Just slide the switch toward the center. This disables the controls so you can't accidentally turn it back on. Leaving the backlight on when you don't need it can affect your playback time. You can turn off the backlight timer by selecting Settings, Backlight Timer, and choosing Off. Some iPods let you control the brightness. Reducing brightness can also maximize playback time. Another thing to try is playing songs by selecting an album or playlist instead of manually selecting each song individually. Also, avoid pressing Next or Previous to skip the track you're listening to. By trying these tips, you can be sure your iPod's battery lasts longer between charges. For more information about batteries, visit www.apple.com/batteries. What should you do if you experience a problem using or syncing your iPod? Remember these 5 basic suggestions. Make sure your iPod is fully charged, and reset iPod by first toggling the hold switch on and off. Then press and hold the center and menu buttons for at least 6 seconds until the Apple logo appears. If that didn't fix the problem, then retry with a different USB port on your computer. If that didn't fix the problem, then restart your computer. If that didn't fix your problem, then reinstall the latest iTunes software. If that didn't solve your problem, then restore iPod to its original settings by selecting your iPod in the iTunes source pane and clicking the Restore button here. Or check out the iPod Support webpage. You can get to it by picking iPod Service and Support from the Help menu in iTunes. If the problem persists and you need to contact AppleCare, you'll be asked for your serial number. The serial number is on the back of iPod, and you can see it in iTunes by selecting your iPod in the source pane. The serial number is here on the Summary tab. Select Copy from the Edit menu, and now you can paste it into an email or web page. The second-generation iPod Shuffle is nearly half the size of the original and features a built-in clip, making it the most wearable iPod ever. We know you can't wait to listen to your favorite music on the go, so here's how to download and play music on your iPod Shuffle. The first thing you'll want to do is download and install the latest versions of iTunes and iPod software. Once that's done, you're ready to add music and other audio files to your iPod Shuffle. Use the iPod Shuffle dock to connect to a USB port on your computer. This is how you load audio files and charge the iPod Shuffle battery. This is also the port you'll plug your headphones into. The first time you connect iPod Shuffle to your computer, the iPod Setup Assistant will appear. Give your iPod a name and leave this option selected if you want iTunes to automatically fill your iPod with songs from your library. I'll deselect it for now and click Done. Now that your iPod is connected, it's a good idea to choose Check for Updates from the iTunes menu to make sure you have the latest. To set how your music is downloaded from iTunes, select iPod Shuffle in the Source pane on the left, and the options appear at the bottom of the Contents pane. Click here to select a playlist, and then click the Autofill button to transfer songs from your selection. You can also add songs, playlists, audiobooks, or podcasts manually to your iPod Shuffle by dragging them to your iPod in the Source pane, like this. Remember, if you manually add an audiobook, you can turn off iPod Shuffle to set a bookmark and save your place between sessions. While music is being transferred, you'll see a Do Not Disconnect message here in iTunes. When your update is complete, you can eject your iPod Shuffle by clicking here in the Source pane and then disconnecting it from your computer. Now let's take a look at the settings on your new iPod Shuffle. Turn it on and off using this switch here. This is the iPod Shuffle status light. It lets you know if you've pressed a button, the state of the battery, that your iPod Shuffle is enabled as a disc, or if there's something wrong. The Play in Order switch will play songs in the order they appear in iTunes. Switch to Shuffle and you'll hear your songs played in random order. You'll use this center button to play or pause. To raise or lower the music volume, press these buttons on the raised circle. Use these buttons to go to the next or previous song. If your iPod Shuffle stops responding, you can easily reset it by turning it off for 5 seconds and then turning it on again. If you're having a problem and you need to contact AppleCare, you'll need to know your serial number. You can find it under the clip on iPod Shuffle, or here in the Settings pane when your iPod Shuffle is connected to iTunes. If you select Copy from the Edit menu, you can easily paste your serial number into an email or web page. For more information about iPod Shuffle, select iPod Service and Support from the Help menu in iTunes, or see the features guide at www.apple.com/support/iPod Shuffle.